General Notice 001 Alpha. In order to prevent knowledge of SCP-001 from being leaked, several /no false SCP-001 files have been created alongside the true file /files. All files concerning the nature of SCP-001, including the decoy /decoys, are protected by a mimetic kill agent designed to immediately cause cardiac arrest in any non-authorized personnel attempting to access the file. Revealing the true nature /natures of SCP-001 to the general public is cause for execution, except as required under Redacted. Warning. Any non-authorized personnel accessing this file will be immediately terminated through Berryman-Langford mimetic kill agent. Scrolling down without proper mimetic inoculation will result in immediate cardiac arrest followed by death. You have been warned. Mimetic kill agent activated. Continued life signs confirmed. Removing safety interlocks. Welcome, authorized personnel. Please select your desired file. Code name, Tanhony 2, the Black Moon. Does the Black Moon howl? No. Last updated, the 12th of October, 1987. Item number, SCP-001. Object class, Keta. Special containment procedures. All information gained from study of other anomalies which could potentially be of use in counteracting SCP-001 is to be transmitted to Site-01. Any obliterations are to be recorded in as much detail as possible for reference when studying SCP-001 and potential countermeasures. All containment and neutralization efforts for SCP-001 are under the direct command of the Administrator at Site-01. Description: SCP-001 is an entropic entity of significant power and influence believed to reside somewhere outside of conventional reality. In the majority of pre-Foundation records, SCP-001 is referred to as the Black Moon. 1. See Footnotes. Historical records, along with testimony from the Administrator, indicate that SCP-001's influence upon the material world consists of the sudden and random obliteration of conscious organisms. This obliteration consists of the organisms in question being spontaneously transmuted into a solid black substance, which then disappears entirely 4 seconds later. 2. See Footnotes. According to the Administrator, this obliteration is exceedingly rare, occurring only once every few decades, but he claims that the frequency and speed of these obliterations will increase exponentially over time. It is currently unknown whether SCP-001 possesses actual intelligence or simply acts as an impartial force. Information on SCP-001 obtained from numerous historical and prehistorical sources suggests that it is incapable of acting while being directly observed. These sources cannot be proven as reliable, however, as none list incidents of this approach actually being successful. In addition, due to the fact that SCP-001 does not exist in conventional reality and acts remotely, direct observation of it is not currently possible. Due to the fact that, if the Administrator's hypothesis is correct, SCP-001 has the potential to present a total existential threat if left to its own devices, the execution of Project Oromazdes has been approved. Project Oromazdes consists of the intentional creation and modification of anomalous objects in order to aid in the containment or neutralization of SCP-001. Addendum 001-1. For further information on direct containment efforts for SCP-001, refer to attached file. Footnotes. 1. Note that other designations do exist, including the Pale Emperor, the Pit, and Finale. 2. Analysis confirms that no trace of the victim remains following this. See Document 001-1 for full analysis of known obliteration events. Does the Black Moon howl? Not without blood. Last updated, the 11th of April, 1991. Item number, SCP-001 Cage. Object Class, Thaumiel. Special Containment Procedures, as agreed upon during the formation of the current Foundation structure and mission statement. SCP-001 Cage is to be confined to Site-01 at all times. Security personnel are to constantly accompany SCP-001 Cage to ensure this agreement is honored, and are authorized to incapacitate SCP-001 Cage via the use of tranquilizers in the event that he attempts to leave. All research by SCP-001 Cage on SCP-001 is to be conducted on Level 4 of Site-01. Working with a group of personally chosen research staff. Any outside communication required for this research is to be performed either remotely or through an intermediary. These containment procedures are currently subject to change pending the completion of the Singular Conceptual Bunker, SCB. Description: SCP-001 Cage is a human male appearing to be in his late 30s. Referred to in the majority of official Foundation records as the Administrator. In actuality, the specific age of SCP-001 Cage is unknown, but is believed to be significantly longer than the majority of known human civilization. During his time in containment, SCP-001 Cage has shown no signs of aging beyond his original appearance. No known means of permanently injuring or incapacitating SCP-001 Cage exist, as all wounds inflicted to his body will be reversed following a period of exactly 4 seconds, regardless of severity. Tranquilizers have proven to be effective to a limited degree, as SCP-001 Cage will remain unconscious for a short time after the tranquilizer leaves his system. When questioned regarding his immortality and invincibility, SCP-001 Cage has claimed that it is a result of being designated as the Counterbalance, an entity charged with pursuing SCP-001. According to SCP-001 Cage, the designation of the Counterbalance is one that can be transferred to another, but he has refused to transfer it to another member of Foundation personnel to prove this. SCP-001 Cage is the original founder of the SCP Foundation, having gathered the first O5 Council and provided information on a number of anomalous items gathered over the course of his pre-Foundation lifespan. In exchange for submitting to containment himself and providing the previously mentioned intelligence, SCP-001 Cage was provided with the resources required to research SCP-001 and methods of containing or neutralizing it. Addendum 001 Cage 1, Interview Log. Since the original formation of the Foundation in 1, redacted, SCP-001 Cage has been subject to periodic interviews with members of the O5 Council in order to ascertain both his current mental state and the effectiveness of research into SCP-001. The following is the latest such interview. A full archive is available on the Site-01 database. O5-3, there, we're recording. Are you ready to begin? SCP-001 Cage, gosh, that's fantastic. I've really taken a liking to recording equipment recently, did you know? So convenient. Pause. O5-3, so. We need to begin as always, the memory test. SCP-001 Cage, are you new? O5-3, I'm sorry. SCP-001 Cage, I don't think I've seen you before. Are you new? O5-3, I've been in my current position for 30 years now. SCP-001 Cage, so you are new, then. Sorry. the memory test. Go ahead. 05-3 unfolds a sheet of paper and begins reading from it. 05-3, do you recall when you were born? SCP-001 cage, before names. 05-3, before, can you expand on that, please? SCP-001 cage, you need names when there's a risk of confusing people. When I was born, there weren't enough people for that to be a concern. 05-3, I see. And do you recall how you obtained your current anomalous properties? SCP-001 cage, the counterbalance. 05-3, if that's what you'd like to call it. Pause. SCP-001 cage, quietly, we had a village on the edge of the sea, just tents and caves, but it was a village for those times. I was the boy then. The closest thing to a name was what you were, because there was only one of you in the whole world. Pause. SCP-001 cage, one day, someone new came. The hermit. He looked like he'd never eaten a day in his life, like a skeleton, but he never died. He came to the center of our village, sat on a stone, and waited, and a few days later, the black moon howled. 05-3, SCP-001. SCP-001 cage, the black moon. The youngest hunter was just walking to his cave, and then he was gone. A pitch-black statue mid-stride, 4 seconds, then nothing. Then the hermit turned to me, asked me what I'd seen. Pause. SCP-001 cage, I told him. He told me about the black moon, told me everything he'd managed to learn over the course of his immortal life. It took him about 4 minutes. 05-3, he spoke quickly. SCP-001 cage, no. He just didn't know much. Quietly, he'd lived 1,000 years. Pause. SCP-001 cage, and then he gave it to me. He turned into dust. And I started walking. Is that enough? Can we move on? 05-3, yes. That's enough. Pause. SCP-001 cage, size, I see. What else is there? 05-3, you've cleared the memory test. So, how are things going in regards to 001 now? SCP-001 cage, slow. But that's no surprise, it's been slow from the beginning. Dr. Moto has a proposal we're all very excited about, though, and I've always staked my hopes on the SCP. 05-3, interesting. Could you go into those a bit more? SCP-001 cage, I've sent the project proposals and they've both been approved. That will be sufficient. 05-3, even so, I'd prefer to discuss them with you now. SCP-001 cage, you think I'm full of shit, don't you? Pause. 05-3, excuse me. SCP-001 cage, you think one of 3 things, that I'm lying, that I'm delusional, or that I'm fighting a pointless battle. From your eyes, I'd say it's one of the first 2, probably the first. 05-3, I assure you, I have the utmost respect. SCP-001 cage, for your position and contribution. Yes, thank you very much. But I'd prefer if you didn't lie about your personal feelings. It's demeaning to both of us. Pause. 05-3, you seem to be speaking as though you know my personal feelings. SCP-001 cage, yes, that's right. 05-3, you're not a telepath. We confirmed that decades ago. SCP-001 cage, no, I'm not. Your predecessors did fine work. Pause. SCP-001 Cage leans forward. SCP-001 Cage, people like to think that every single person is unique. But the thing is, and this is just my personal opinion, so please don't take it as fact, there are only a limited number of people, 100 or so, and they just happen over and over with minor variations between them. A bit of a temper, a predilection for flowers, a fear of wasps. All of it is window dressing for the same few archetypes. 05-3, that's SCP-001 Cage, and once you've been around as long as I have, you find it very easy to recognize them. So, again, please don't lie to me. I've heard it all before. Pause. 05-3, I think you've got the wrong idea about me. I do have doubts, but as I said, I have the utmost respect for you. But if, as you say, SCP-001 is an entity that can only be stopped by being observed, but can never be observed, it seems the effort expended is pointless. SCP-001 Cage, have you read Moby Dick yet? 05-3, yet. SCP-001 Cage, it's a new book from a Mr. Melville. I've really identified with it. There's this character in it, Ahab, who has this scuffle with a whale. Ends poorly for him. 05-3, it was my impression that the book was about how Ahab's pursuit of revenge against nature was doomed to fail from the start. SCP-001 Cage, really? That wasn't my impression. 05-3, well, what was yours, then? Pause. SCP-001 Cage, that Ahab just didn't try hard enough. Addendum 001 Cage 2. Following this interview, SCP-001 Cage has provided further information on Dr. Moto's proposal regarding containment of SCP-001 under the purview of Project Oromasdes. Updated records of Dr. Moto's containment efforts are available in the attached file. Does the Black Moon howl? Only at the blind. Last updated, the 2nd of May, 1993. Item number, SCP-001 Key. Object Class, Thaumiel. Special Containment Procedures, materials used for the creation of SCP-001 Key instances are to be stored in a secure warehouse at Site-01. Any record of the concepts used to link an instance of SCP-001 Key to SCP-001 is to be kept only on the secure Site-01 database, and amnestic therapy is to be used to prevent knowledge of said concepts from leaving Site-01. Any non-viable SCP-001 key instances created as part of the project are to be stored in containment for further study that may benefit SCP-001 research efforts. Once the capabilities of SCP-001 key instances have been fully ascertained, containment of them in locations outside Site-01 is approved. In order to maintain potential containment of SCP-001, however, all instances of SCP-001 key must remain under observation at all times. All creation of new SCP-001 key instances and research of existing SCP-001 key instances must be approved by Dr. Moto. Description: SCP-001 key is the collective designation for a series of inanimate objects artificially linked to SCP-001 using conceptual engineering. Although the specific behavior of each SCP-001 key instance differs, the consistent characteristics of a successful SCP-001 key instance are: an inability to act while under observation, a hostility towards conscious life, the capacity to end conscious life if given the opportunity, All instances of SCP-001 key were created in the hopes that, by conceptually linking to SCP-001, observation of SCP-001 key would be equal to observation of SCP-001, thus resulting in a halt to obliterations. Addendum 001 Key 1, Instance Log. The following is a record of instances created as part of the SCP-001 key project. Note that only successful instances of SCP-001 key have been recorded. A full list of all instances produced is available from the Site-01 archives. Instance, SCP-001 Key 03. Further information, instance took the form of a humanoid statue which, when unobserved, appeared behind the nearest individual in a threatening posture. Comments, subject judged only as a partial success. It's unclear whether its behavior is due to actual hostility or simply playfulness. Relocated. Dr. Moto. Instance, SCP-001 Key 07. Further information, instance took the form of a humanoid statue which, when unobserved, attempts to snap the neck of the nearest individual. Comments, success. Subject demonstrates all three properties required for a viable SCP-001 key instance, and the minor scale of its attack makes it easily manageable. Although we must continue producing instances for the greatest risk of success, this is a very good sign. Dr. Moto. Instance, SCP-001 Key 12. Further information, instance took the form of a spherical sculpture floating 1 meter in the air. Immediately after becoming unobserved for a period of 0.2 seconds, SCP-001 Key 12 violently exploded, resulting in the deaths of attending personnel. Comments, although the instance was a success in terms of demonstrating the required characteristics, it was an unequivocal failure in the fact that it immediately self-terminated. The deaths are a tragedy, too, but as long as we can achieve our goal, the lives we will save will be more than equal. Dr. Moto. Instance, SCP-001 Key 13. Further information, instance took the form of a sculpture of a human head 3 meters in height and 2 meters in width. When unobserved, SCP-001 Key 13 immediately breached containment by ramming through the nearest wall at extremely high speeds and proceeding to attempt an escape from Site-01. Instance was recontained after breaching the outer wall of Site-01 and attempting to flee across the desert. Comments, unclear whether this instance demonstrated the required characteristics. While the escape resulted in the deaths of 19 personnel, God rest their souls, it's unclear whether this was intentional or simply collateral damage. All the same, I've ordered this one terminated due to the difficulty of containment. Dr. Moto. Instance, SCP-001 Key 14. Further information, instance took the form of a complex of intersecting stalagmites and stalactites, with a series of coral-like growths erupting from the central mass. When unobserved for 0.2 seconds, no activity was immediately observed. However, later investigation revealed that, during those 0.2 seconds, 142 civilians staying in the redacted Hotel Inn, redacted 1, see footnotes, were killed via spontaneous and simultaneous human combustion. Comments, an unacceptable loss of life and breach of secrecy. I'm told anomalous means had to be used to prevent the collapse of the veil in this case. I've ordered an immediate halt to production of SCP-001 key instances. If the principles behind the project hold, observation of all the extant instances we've produced so far should be sufficient to prevent SCP-001 from acting. At any rate, there have been no obliterations recorded since the project began. Dr. Moto. Addendum 001 Key 02, Incident 001 Key 01. On 01/29/1993, the first observed double obliteration event caused by SCP-001 was recorded in Rome, Italy, with 2 tourists spontaneously being erased. It was later confirmed that, at the time of this event, all extant instances of SCP-001 Key were being observed. Several hours following news of this event, Dr. Moto left the following note in his office. "We've been looking at nothing. I'm sorry, Administrator. I failed you, sir." Dr. Moto's body was later found in the temporary containment chamber of an SCP-001 Key instance, having entered under the guise of performing vital research using his Project Head authorization. Cause of death confirmed as a broken neck. The project was discontinued, and all remaining SCP-001 Key instances were moved to Site 19-1993. Addendum 001 Key 03, Reallocation of Resources. Following the cancellation of the SCP-001 Key project, all remaining resources were reallocated to the construction and launch of an experimental extraplanetary observation module. For more information on this project, consult the attached file. Footnotes. 1. The closest human settlement to Site-01. Does the black moon howl? Not while the stars shine. Last updated, the 8th of November, 3764. Item number, SCP-001 Seek. Object Class, Thaumiel. Special Containment Procedures. Due to its current mission of exploration, physical containment of SCP-001 Seek is not currently being enacted. All information received from SCP-001 Seek is to be logged directly onto the Site-01 database for analysis by members of the SCP-001 Countermeasure Research Team. All alterations to SCP-001 Seek's planned route must be approved via a vote of the O5 Council. Description: SCP-001 Seek is a biomechanical spacefaring vessel designed to traverse space in search of extraterrestrial civilizations with potentially useful intelligence regarding SCP-001. Black in coloration, it is 1,000 meters in length, 300 meters in width, and 600 meters in height. Numerous thrusters, cilia and flagella are present along the length of SCP-001 Seek's body in order to aid in movement while in space. In order to assist it in this task, SCP-001 Seek has been equipped with the following anomalous technology under the purview of Project Oromazdes. A Type 40 organic learning computer, artificially grown in such a manner that it is capable of handling a significantly greater capacity of information than any extant human or transhuman. A universal translator reverse engineered from the remains of the disassembled SCP, redacted, capable of assimilating languages in several nanoseconds and providing basic context. A transcription unit conceptually linked to an identical unit in Site-01, allowing the instantaneous transmission of information back and forth. 300 biological drones capable of flight and locomotion, directly controlled by SCP-001 Seek's organic learning computer via telepathic connection. 3,000 experimental cryogenic units capable of storing and preserving biological samples for extended periods of time. In order to prevent SCP-001 Seek from becoming a valid target for SCP-001, care has been taken to ensure that, although it is capable of feats of advanced intelligence, it is not actually conscious. Addendum 001 Seek 1, Extended Exploration Log. The following is a record of the most noteworthy explorations conducted by SCP-001 Seek. All reports were compiled directly by SCP-001 Seek's organic learning computer and transmitted to Site-01 Command. Exploration 001 Seek 39. The 2nd of December, 3156. Conditions: planet theoretically capable of supporting human life, however persistent blizzards and snowstorms cover the planet. Most prominent signs of civilizations are on the largest northern continent and numerous smaller islands which dot the surface of the planet. Action taken: planetary orbit established. All drones deployed to investigate signs of civilization. Civilization condition: no conscious life discovered. All settlements consisted of abandoned villages and cities with primarily cone-based architecture. Signs of attempted evacuation present, with numerous abandoned space-worthy vessels discovered on the northern continent. Presumed obliteration of species occurred at least 1,000 years prior to arrival. Relevant discoveries: numerous artistic depictions of spherical life forms, presumably the indigenous species, being obliterated by SCP-001. Several hundred spherical objects found at the bottom of a large cliff on the northern continent, indicating mass suicide on the part of said indigenous species. Numerous brick-shaped objects scattered throughout all settlements. Inspection by drones revealed these to be touch-based means of information storage. Majority of storage devices indicated the presence of numerous contradictory theories regarding obliteration events. Final verdict: no usable information uncovered. However, context confirms influence of SCP-001. Exploration 001 Seek 202. The 10th of January, 3499. Conditions: planet incapable of supporting human life. Volcanic conditions across majority of the planet, with small temperate zones at both poles. Signs of civilization present inside deep craters within previously mentioned temperate zones. Action taken: planetary orbit established. Drones self-modified to withstand harsher conditions and dispatched onto the planet for investigation. Civilization condition: no conscious life discovered. Civilization consists of large black cylindrical buildings each thousands of meters tall. Investigation indicates that these functioned as mass communal dwelling areas, with living space for millions of organisms contained within each one. No signs of evacuation attempts. Obliteration of species believed to have occurred at least 100 years prior to arrival. Relevant discoveries: statues of quadrupedal entities with hooked claws on each foot present on each floor of the communal buildings. Evidence suggests these were the indigenous species of the planet. Script written on walls within the communal buildings indicate a general feeling of acceptance of the inevitable among the planetary population. Further translation indicates that individuals were instructed to remain in their homes and await the coming of the howl/reverberation. Numerous creatures infesting the communal buildings, superficially resembling armored bats. Inspection by drones confirmed these creatures were not conscious and operated solely on instinct. Records present in the structures indicated these were originally rare animals, considered a delicacy. Final verdict: full confirmation that SCP-001 does not target non-conscious life, as the bat population on the planet had expanded to the point of them overrunning the ruins of the civilization in question. Exploration 001 Seek 499. The 8th of November, 3764. Conditions: entirety of planet has been urbanized, with large artificial farms and nature reserves present on the roofs of megacities. Weather appears to have been artificially stabilized to a neutral state at some point in the past, with regular rainfalls to provide for previously mentioned farms and nature reserves. Action taken, planetary orbit established. All drones deployed to investigate all settlements over the course of 6 years. Civilization condition, little conscious life discovered. Majority of the planet's cityscape has been overrun by non-conscious fauna and flora. Evidence suggests the planet was previously home to a highly advanced civilization in terms of technology, projected to be at least 1,000 years ahead of Earth. Numerous bunkers are present beneath the surface, presumably in an attempt to shield against SCP-001. However, as the majority of these were empty, it would appear that this was mostly unsuccessful. Relevant discoveries. Large amounts of data stored throughout the planet, indicating that the indigenous species was a vaguely humanoid form of fungi, capable of linking telepathically to boost group intelligence while maintaining individuality. Numerous abandoned projects in high-security facilities throughout the planet, roughly analogous to previous attempts by the Foundation to observe SCP-001. Evidence suggests the executors of these projects were a local Foundation equivalent. One working cryogenic unit present in one of said high-security facilities, containing a surviving conscious organism from the planet. Unit recovered by drone and transferred to storage aboard SCP-001 Seek. Final verdict, significant success. Individual with potential knowledge of SCP-001 has been recovered. In accordance with direct orders from the Administrator, 1, see Footnotes, SCP-001 Seek will now begin the journey back towards the Earth. Information on recovered organism will be placed in attached file. Footnotes 1. 05 Council temporarily disbanded following the 14th of December, 3763 mass obliteration event. Does the black moon howl? Only when waning. Last updated, the 3rd of May, 5011. Item number, SCP-001 Sage. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-001 Sage is to be kept in a standard humanoid containment chamber and provided with sustenance twice a day in accordance with Nutritional Chart 001 Sage 1. The containment chamber housing SCP-001 Sage is to be kept under guard by at least 2 members of security personnel at all times, who are to remain 3 meters away from said chamber in order to prevent potential telepathic influence. All interviews with SCP-001 Sage are to be conducted by the Administrator, a member of Level 4 personnel. Description: SCP-001 Sage is a vaguely humanoid entity formed from various alien forms of fungus acting in apparent symbiosis. Analysis of SCP-001 Sage both prior and following its delivery to Earth indicates that is sapient, demonstrating the ability to communicate both between its constituent parts and humans via telepathic means. Its surface is a luminescent blue in terms of coloration, and the intensity of this luminescence has been observed to intensify in correspondence with deep thought or extreme emotion. Prior to delivery to Earth, SCP-001 Sage was discovered on a planet which it has identified as the Single Star, where it claims to have served as a scholarly figure of great renown. According to its own testimony, the primary subject of SCP-001 Sage's study was the phenomenon designated by the Foundation as SCP-001. Following the failure of the Single Star government to formulate a countermeasure to SCP-001, however, SCP-001 Sage placed itself into cryogenic sleep in the hopes that it could be subsequently escape its effects. 1. Evidence suggests that, originally, members of SCP-001 Sage S species would boost their own intelligence by telepathically interfacing with others of their kind. However, as SCP-001 Sage is now the only extant member of said species, it has demonstrated great difficulty in tasks that require assimilating new ideas or expanding upon existing knowledge. Addendum 001 Sage 01, Interview Log. The following is a transcription of an interview between the administrator and SCP-001 Sage shortly before activation of the Singular Conceptual Bunker, SCB. As the administrator's unique properties provide defense against telepathic assault as well as physical, he was able to approach at a close distance without being put at risk. The administrator enters the containment chamber. SCP-001 Sage has positioned itself in the center of the room. Administrator, hello there. Upon sighting the administrator, SCP-001 Sage flares with an intense blue light, disrupting recording equipment for several seconds. SCP-001 Sage, counterbalance. Administrator, you're well informed. Mind if I take a seat? Pause. SCP-001 Sage, take a, yes, I see. Yes. The administrator sits cross-legged across from SCP-001 Sage. Administrator, grunting, thanks much. I'm the administrator. Do you have a name? SCP-001 Sage glows intensely. SCP-001 Sage, my name is a sequence of lights and movements your body configuration is not capable of. Here, I am called SCP-001 Sage. That is correct, isn't it? Administrator, if you're fine with it. SCP-001 Sage, yes. It does not matter. Pause. Administrator, is there a way? SCP-001 Sage, a way. Administrator, a way to stop it. The Black Moon. SCP-001 Sage, yes. You already know there is a way. Administrator, you're reading my mind. SCP-001 Sage, your mind is screaming at me. I could hardly ignore it if I wanted to. Pause. SCP-001 Sage, S. C. B. Is that it? What is it? Pause. Administrator, quietly, victory. But it will take a very, very long time. I don't know if I can. I've waited so long already. I'm very tired. Pause. The administrator wipes his brow. Administrator, there are people who've loved me, I think. Were there people who loved you? SCP-001 Sage, yes. Administrator, we've left them all behind to end up here. Pause. SCP-001 Sage, yes. Administrator, horse, I don't know how much more I can leave behind. SCP-001 Sage, then give the counterbalance to another. The administrator looks up at SCP-001 Sage. Administrator, how do you know about it? The counterbalance. SCP-001 Sage, once, there was one with that on my planet. A mighty hero, but, he grew tired. He set sail to another world, to hand off his burden. As I imagine it was handed to him. As I imagine his successor handed it off. A great chain spanning across the universe. Administrator, it was given to me by an old man. SCP-001 Sage, then he did not do as he should have. Will you? Pause. Administrator, I know how to win. I could just tell someone, give it to them. SCP-001 Sage, you could give it to me. Administrator, sighs, but I can't trust anyone else with it. Laughs, I'm a notorious micromanager, you see, besides, it's not all it's cracked up to be. The Black Moon's still gonna kill me, it'll just kill me last. Pause. Administrator, I'm sorry. SCP-001 Sage, do not be. From the moment thought is born in a species, the watching takes note of them, from then on, it is a matter of time. I have long since surpassed my own judgment. Pause. SCP-001 Sage, you say it will take time. How much time? Administrator, have you ever looked at the sky as night fell, and watched the stars appear? SCP-001 Sage, no, but I understand what you mean. Administrator, I'm going to see them go away for good. Pause. SCP-001 Sage, what good will victory do then? The administrator gets up and goes to leave. SCP-001 Sage again flares with an intense blue light. SCP-001 Sage, counterbalance. What good will victory do then? The administrator turns and stares at SCP-001 Sage for several seconds. SCP-001 Sage, I see. How blasphemous of you. Hopefully it works. The administrator leaves. Immediately following this interview, the administrator proceeded to the singular conceptual bunker and entered it, leaving instructions for the Foundation to be run by a newly formed O5 Council in his indefinite absence. Addendum 001 Sage 2, Incident Report. On the 1st of May 5011, SCP-001 Sage was observed to suddenly flare with an intense blue light and speak the words, "Hopefully. Hopefully." Immediately following this, SCP-001 Sage was converted into a solid black substance which disappeared 4 seconds later. Obliteration by SCP-001 confirmed. Reclassification to neutralized pending. When consulted on this matter inside the SCB, the administrator only indicated that he would be providing no further guidance, and that the SCB should be loaded onto the experimental memorial module at the first available opportunity. Information on this project is available in the attached file. Footnotes. 1. Note that, as the failure of the New Mexico Long Sleep, NMLS, project indicates, cryogenic sleep provides no defense against SCP-001, suggesting that SCP-001 Sage's survival was a matter of chance more than any other factor. Does the Black Moon howl? Yes. Last updated, 24/12, after names. Item number, SCP-001 Tome. Object Class, Thaumiel. Special Containment Procedures, SCP-001 Tome is to remain in orbit around Remus 9-224, now believed to be the last remaining star. All operation of SCP-001 Tome is to be directed by the Commander, however, preparations are to be made so SCP-001 Tome can operate autonomously in the event that the Commander is obliterated. This will ensure that SCP-001 Tome can remain operational as long as possible following the extinction of conscious life. All signals intercepted by SCP-001 Tome are to be recorded and filed within its central computer. In order to prevent other entities from attempting to salvage or take control of SCP-001 Tome, no signals are to be sent out from the station under any circumstances. The Singular Conceptual Bunker, SCB, located within SCP-001 Tome is not to be disturbed under any circumstances. Description: SCP-001 tome is an installation designed to serve as a memorial following the extinction of conscious life via intercepting the final transmissions of civilizations prior to obliteration. It is spherical in shape, 50 meters in diameter, and concealed from detection using a number of cloaking systems. In order to remain functioning as long as possible, the engine contained at the heart of SCP-001 tome is capable of producing power via the harvesting of ambient hypothetical energy. The artificial intelligence operating SCP-001 tome's systems also serves as a filter for signals being intercepted, allowing the majority of junk data to be deleted while retaining statements of historical and sentimental value. Note that this artificial intelligence has not passed the Yova test, and is thus not conscious enough to qualify for obliteration. Following the simultaneous obliteration of 209 human colonies in the year 7329, it was determined that the continued existence of conscious life was no longer possible. In order to ensure information regarding conscious life survived as long as possible, the previously defunct SCP-001 tome project was revived and launched. At the time of writing, SCP-001 tome has been in operation for buffer_overflow years. Addendum 001 Tome 01, Transmission Record. The following is a record of relevant transmissions filed within SCP-001 tome. Note that this is only a partial record. A full database is stored within the SCP-001 tome computers. Location: Lucifer, Human Colony. Filed by the Commander. Message: Hello, is there anyone here? We require assistance. It's taking people every day. We need help. There's barely anyone left. We need help. Hello. Location: Venguabala, anti-human religious site. Filed by the Commander. Message: Cabal 943. We have abandoned the false flesh. We have abandoned the false flesh. The shepherd's crook broken neath my knee. Cabal 943. Cabal 943. Forgive us. Forgive us. Location: Kitchen Sink, Human Colony. Filed by the Commander. Message: We're going to leave this on. It's so dark outside now. It's blotting out the sun. I have to go now. Location: X92, Android Commune. Automatically filed. Message: Respond first. Convenience emergency situation developing, require additional resources. Location: Ocean Hate, Thout Space. Automatically filed. Message: My fault. Your fault. Our fault. My fault. Your fault. Our fault. My fault. Your fault. Our fault. Rip out my brain now. Rip out my brain now. Location: Earth, Human Home World. Automatically filed. Message: Hello 1. Location: Solitary Conceptual Bunker. Automatically filed. Message: It's ready. Wish me luck. Footnotes. 1. Voice consistent with that of a young child. The Solitary Conceptual Bunker. Visually, it resembles a bar, bottles of liquor lined up on shelves, ashtrays arranged on the bar top, stools pulled up for patrons. Booths line the walls where groups can sit down for a drink together. The walls are made with fine, intricate brickwork, and the floors made from the smoothest, most pristine wood. A jukebox in the corner releases songs to drift throughout the space. A man is behind the bar, scrubbing it down with a grim smile on his face. This is the administrator, and he is awaiting a visitor. He lifts the cloth from the bar. The administrator. There. Just takes a little love. The door to the bar opens. The Black Moon walks in. The administrator turns to look at him. The administrator. Well, there you are. Certainly took your time. Can I pour you a little something? The Black Moon cocks its head, for what little difference that makes. It is a shadow with delusions of form, like smoke trapped in a fist. When it speaks, it is thousands of tiny whispers building to a divine crescendo. The Black Moon. What is this? The administrator furrows his brow, smiles. The question itself is absurd to him, like a joke that he doesn't quite get. The administrator. Spreading arms wide. Well, it's a bar. What, you don't drink? The Black Moon steps forward, somehow drifting and stomping at the same time. A clicking growl escapes what might be lips. The Black Moon. Why am I speaking? This is not my way. The administrator nods. This is an explanation he's been waiting to give for billions of years. Perhaps more gloating than anything else, really, but all the same time he comes around the bar, waving a finger to punctuate his points. The administrator. Well, that's a very interesting question. You see, this whole place we're standing in is a singular containment bunker, forgive me, the singular containment bunker. Everything here, including you and me, is just information. The Black Moon. Meaningless. The Black Moon takes a step forward. The administrator takes a step backwards. Despite everything, there is the fear of millennia in this space. He's going to keep his distance. The administrator. No, be fair now, this really was clever. You see, everything in here is only here because I've provided the information. The bottles, the bar, the jukebox, the music, even the space I'm occupying. Hell, if I'd wanted to I could have just left no room for you to enter, made this bunker completely sealed. The Black Moon steps forward, the administrator backwards, retreating behind the bar once more, but talking all the while. The administrator. Of course, if I'd done that, you'd have just smashed this place to pieces because, after all, you're a universal constant and this is just a measly pile of concepts stapled together. Which is why I left a human-shaped hole for you to occupy. The Black Moon stops, pauses for a moment, hesitation born of uncertainty. Both new experiences to the death of ages. The Black Moon. What have you done to me? The administrator grins. That shadow of fear is what he's waited so very long for. The administrator. I've provided a path of least resistance, and you took it, like I hoped you would. At least for the next few minutes, I've brought you down to my level. The Black Moon barks like a dog, roars like a lion, hisses like a snake, all at once. The fury of a supernova. The administrator gulps, but the grin remains on his face. The Black Moon. Meaningless. You'll die all the same. The administrator sighs, disappointed, leaning on the bar surface that he was just cleaning. He stares at the Black Moon straight on. The administrator. Gosh, sorry, I'm just kind of disappointed. I've been waiting billions of years for this, and you're just being a cartoon villain for me right now. Not your fault, suppose, you're like an ocean being squeezed into a plastic bottle. You were never going to come out looking good. The Black Moon resumes its approach, smoke fists balled at smoke sides, its face the vaguest impression of a snarl. The administrator backs up again, hands in the air. The administrator. Now hold on, hold on. This is a prime opportunity here. We're here, talking, for the first time ever, so, come on, why don't you just stop? Just let us go. Why not? The black moon vaults the bar, wood cracking and rotting beneath it, a dreadful screech escaping its swirling lips. It lands in front of the administrator. The black moon. Meaningless. The administrator sighs. Guess that was too much to ask. Plan B, then. In a flash of movement, a movement trained every day since time immemorial, the administrator reaches beneath the bar and pulls out a shotgun. He fires it, both barrels, right into the chest of the black moon. It goes staggering backwards, twin holes in its chest, but it does not fall, another rhapsody of anger erupting from it. The administrator. Surprised. Oh, you're a little. Roaring, the black moon charges at the administrator, tackling him full body and sending both of them tumbling to the floor. The shotgun skids away across the floor. The moment they are down, the black moon climbs atop the heap, wrapping the vestiges of its hands around the neck of the administrator. Gaseous as they appear, they are solid enough to squeeze at the very least, and squeeze they do. The administrator gasps, pulling at the black moon's hands, but its grip is like a vice. Even as his eyes bulge and his face turns blue, the administrator reaches up, grabs the black moon by the face, and slams it with all his strength into the side of the bar. Again, the two collapse into a heap. The only sounds are the growling of the black moon, the gasping of the administrator, and the soft songs of the jukebox. The administrator. Massaging throat, hoarse. Fuck. Fuck. The administrator gets to his feet first, more used to physical form, and with more than a little bit of spite, stomps down on the joint of the black moon's knee. The black moon howls. The schadenfreude lasts only a second, though. The black moon grabs the administrator by the leg, pulling him back down to the ground, but as he falls, the human grabs hold of one of the ashtrays lined up on the bar, taking it with him. His head hits the wooden floor as he comes down hard, and blood runs down, blinding him in one eye. He twitches, something important has been damaged. The black moon climbs atop him again, straddling in a mixture of passion and cold malevolence, clawing at his face with its bare hands. The black moon. Angrily. Meaningless. Meaningless. Just die. Summoning his last memories of strength, the administrator brings his arm up, the one holding the ashtray. The crystalline saucer comes down on the black moon's head once, twice, thrice, more, so many times that it becomes a blur of movement until the moment the black moon goes down, goes limp. The jukebox carries on its song. Sighing as if he's expelling all the energy he's built up over his life, the administrator rolls over, away from the corpse of the black moon. He lets go of the ashtray, now painted entirely with some awful oily substance. He closes his eyes for a movement, he thinks about resting. But there's one last thing he needs to do. The administrator. Quietly. Come on, buddy. Come on. Let's go. The administrator climbs to his feet as best he can, using the bar for support, blood still pouring down to cover his face. He won't last more than a few minutes. Doubtless he should be dead already. He staggers, painfully slowly, over to the jukebox. The song is almost over. He fishes in his pocket, pulls out a coin. Smiles as if it's the most beautiful thing left in the world. Maybe it is. The administrator. The thing is, this place is only information. There's nothing else out there. Not even matter. The universe closed its doors a long time ago. But this place can go from information back to matter with just the press of a button. The song ends. He puts the coin in the jukebox. He closes his eyes. The administrator. Let's see what happens when we introduce something to nothing. For a moment, it seems he will fall. But he doesn't. Instead, he slams the button. The administrator. Laughing. Let there be light.